Welcome back, race fans. It's time for round number 9 here in Belleville, Ontario. But before we get into everything, let's go down to the pits and see who's here. All right, everybody, out here in Belleville, walking around the pits, ran into John Parker, the number 11 Kawasaki rider. John, having a pretty good season going for you so far, out in the veteran class, dominating, and then the expert class as well, making a few appearances. Tell us a little bit about how the season's going.
Season's going well. Like I say, we're just playing both classes, riding the veterans class. I think at my age I've earned that right, and still riding in the expert class as well at some of the events, especially at all the good tracks. Just trying to have some fun, get some exposure for my sponsors. Some of the other events, I'll just pick one class. I'm also doing triple duty and helping David with his program. So, you know, we got a pretty full plate, and we're just trying to have some fun.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. Dave seems to be getting on a set of rails with his bike this year. You're obviously doing all the engine work for him. Is there anything different that you're going to be doing for Dave in a sense that what more or less what a common rider would need in the expert class?
Yeah, David gets everything. As far as the bike and the engines and that thing, we're throwing everything at it. All the stuff that we've learned over the years with the Kawasaki's, it's all being put into Dave's stuff. I mean, he's got more than I got. I'm not cutting any corners. My goal is to give him the absolute best I can and make sure that he can, you know, he's got more than anybody else out there.
All right, well, obviously a lot of people helping you out, so let's show some love for all those sponsors as well.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's got to start with Kawasaki Canada. They've been with me for a number of years, as well as English Cycle. Got a lot of product sponsors from Scorpion Helmets. Hot Cam's been with me many, many years. Tokyo Mods. Like I say, I've got Gartec Manufacturing, a longtime sponsor of mine, helps me out. Jim Garrett, Garrett 64. He's actually a professor at McMaster University that's been helping me out for a number of years. So I got a lot of good people behind me, and it really makes it a lot easier.
All right, well, you heard it from John Parker himself and the guy in charge for getting Dave Pouliot's bikes all ready, set, and go every weekend. All right, so one of the cool things about Belleville is they've been racing here for over 60 years. So let's take a look at some of these bikes that they brought out here today as part of the Canadian Vintage Motorcycle Group.
Welcome to my house.
Okay, everyone, down here with Brandon Siguen. Brandon coming off injury, unfortunately, from Flamborough. Why don't you give us a little bit of an idea of what happened there?
Yeah, we started our heat race in Flamborough. The first lap, we went into corner one. Another rider came from the top and just kind of cut me off, and I hit him and hit the ground.
Well, we're fortunate enough to see that it wasn't any further damage, but what exactly kind of got handed to you in a sort of sense?
I was in the hospital for 2 days. I got out Monday. Basically, my shoulder's broken. I find out next Friday if I get surgery. I broke a few ribs, and my lung collapsed when I hit the ground. So they wanted to hold me there and make sure that my lung wasn't going to recollapse, and I had no air on my ribs.
Now, this isn't the first time that you've had an accident, and this is something that you can bounce back from. I mean, as far as it goes for the rest of the season, are you done for the rest of the season? You're just going to kind of focus on next season and hooking back up with the sales?
Yeah, so far I've been talking to Kerry and James, and it looks like I'll be riding that bike again next year. As of right now, if I were to heal up, I would like to ride Oswego. That's in the back of my head, of course. But if I get surgery, I'm just going to play it safe and probably see you guys next season.
Well, you can't count you out because definitely coming back next season, you're going to be going. And you seem to be getting a really good drive going as well, too. But with that drive comes a lot of the sponsors that are helping you out. So give me a quick rundown of all those people that give you a hand.
First of all, right off the top, I can't thank Kerry and James enough. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even be on the track this year. I got to thank Digital Detail down in Welland. They make me look awesome every weekend on my bike. And Lifetime Exteriors, Phil Anderson, I can't thank him enough. Was supporting me, tires and gas every weekend. Quinn Custom Motorcycles down in Welland, Niagara Auto Sales, and I think that's it.
All right, well, you heard it from himself, the number 19, Brandon Siguen. Going to be out for a little bit, but don't count this guy out.
Okay, so kicking things off, our first race of the evening, we got the intermediate DTX class. We got 9 riders, all waiting for that green light. And as we head down into the first corner, Dustin Lambert and Tyler Brown both leading the way as they make their way around the track here. Now we're on board with Jody Christie. Jody having a good season so far. He had one little mishap down in Leamington, but he seemed to bounce back from it, and he's been doing very, very well ever since then. So Dustin Lambert leading the charge down the back straightaway here. Tyler Brown diving down to the inside, taking the early lead away from Dustin. Tyler's younger brother, Dustin Brown, sitting in the 3rd spot. That's followed up by Cody Maritet sitting in 4th, Luke Ram in 5th, and Jody Christie sitting in 6th. And then the rest of the pack starts to feather off there towards the back. So Tyler Brown heading back down the back straightaway there, starting to get some bike lengths over Dustin Lambert. Tyler doing a great job out front there, just holding his line. He's got clear vision. You can see there's a little bit of dust kicking up, but this race is going to continue on, and these guys are all going to start to filter out as the pack starts to wind these bikes out. Coming around lap number 2 there, you can see Jody Christie, he's fallen off pace just a little bit. Don't count Jody out, he's a strong finisher. He comes back nearly at the end of every race and surprises everybody. Dustin Brown has caught up to Dustin Lambert and Cody Maritet and Luke Ram. So now we got a pack and a battle for second. We got 4 riders all very close together. Dustin Brown getting by Lambert. Now he's going to start drag racing down the front straightaway here. Gets by Lambert, heading back down to corner 1. Cody Maritet diving down to the inside. He's going to try and get around Lambert. Lambert's going to have a little bit stronger of a drive. Maritet parks it right in front of him. Takes that drive away from Lambert. Doing a great job there, blocking him not to let him get by. And Lambert, of course, falls back a little bit. But we got problems here with our leader. Tyler Brown pulls off to the side, not exactly sure what's going on with his bike, but he seems to get it out of the way fast enough to let the rest of these riders go through. So Dustin Brown now becomes our new race leader with Cody Marintet sitting in second and Dustin Lambert sitting in third. Luke Ram in fourth and Jody Christie sitting in fifth. It's a close race. It could be anyone's race. These guys all kind of getting out in a single file here. Dustin and Cody starting to break away from the rest of the group. You can see Jody coming down the front straightaway here. He's going to be drag racing Luke Ram. They're getting pretty close, heading back down into corner one here. Jody going down on the inside. He tries to square up Luke. Luke goes around on the outside. Marintet gets close to Brown. Brown starts to pull away on that Sail Racing Yamaha DTX 450 as they head down these straightaways here. Now Jody putting a move on the inside of Lambert, taking over that third spot. Kind of parks it right in front of him there, takes away his middle line. Lambert tries to go down to the inside, doesn't really work for him, and Christie now takes over that third spot with 2 laps to go. We're going to skip ahead to the checkered flag here with Dustin Brown coming across the line first, Cody Marintet in second, and Jody Christie holding down the third spot to make up some points. So Dustin's going to go down to the victory circle and get some pictures with Don Empey here, a local representative, volunteer, does a lot of the media at Shannonville. So Don, thank you for coming out and doing these photos this past weekend. Okay, so our second race of the evening, we got the Expert DTX. We got 7 riders, and one of our riders has moved up from intermediate. That is the number 17 of William Belleville. He's moved up into the Expert ranks now to try his hand at seeing what it's like to handle this very, very busy class. So Dave Pouliot off to an early lead. A side note, Nick Wensler having some bike issues and riding one of Kurt Beeger's older 05-06 modeled CRF 450. So this is going to kind of change things up a bit because Nick is on a very strong bike here today. You can see he's sitting in that second spot, followed by Brody Buchan, and I believe that's Kevin Pouliot. That's Dave's older brother, now battling it out with Brody. Brody goes around the outside of Kevin. Now he sets his sights on the back of Nick Wensler. Dave Pouliot already getting off to a little bit of an early lead. Nick Wensler doing everything he can to hold off Buchan. Sorry, that was Kevin Pouliot holding off Buchan. Diving down on the inside, he gets by Buchan. So Buchan's got his work cut out for him if he's got to get by these two riders to start catching up with Dave, who Dave seems to be checking out. Now we got William Bellarose and Fast Freddy Desjardins. We got 4 riders from Quebec out here. We might as well just call them all the French Connection because these guys are coming out and spending a lot of their time on the road to get down to these races, and we really appreciate them coming out. And we're hoping in the near future to get a couple races up in Quebec so we can give these guys a hometown race. So Nick Wensler holding down that second spot over Brody Buchan. Kevin Pouliot has been passed by Brody. Fast Freddy Desjardins makes his way around William Bellarose for that 5th spot. So heading down the back straightaway here, Dave Pouliot already heading back out of the picture frame here. Nick Wensler and Brody Buchan rounding out our top 3. Pouliot doing a great job teaming up with John Parker, who we spoke to earlier in the day. John giving Dave everything that he needs to get out there and win these races. Dave had a tremendous win in the DTX class at Paris at our opening round, or second round, sorry. Earlier in the season. Now Dave he's figured out these half-mile tracks. He's doing a great job, laying down some fast times and showing these guys what he's made of. So Dave with a huge lead over the second spot, Brody Buchan, who made his way around Wensler. Wensler's got his hands full with Kevin Pouliot behind him as well. But taking the cake here in the Expert DTX class is going to be Dave Pouliot, who's going to be celebrating with some redemption with that win that just got out of his grasp at Flamborough. So Buchan taking second and Wensler in that 3rd spot. Dave's going to go down to victory lane, get a couple pictures, go for a victory lap. We're going to go to commercial break, and we'll be right back with something special. All right, so doing something a little bit different. Instead of the Wasp hot lap, we're going to have a Warren hot lap. So what we do is we take 2 lucky fans from the crowd, we strap them in with Aaron Hesmer and a little bit of safety gear, and Aaron's going to take them out for a hot lap. So it gives them a sense of what it's like to go around this track. Now, it's not on a motorcycle, but it is with our Honda Pioneer 1000. So we've got to say thank you to Honda and Warren for helping us out and sponsoring us out this year. Now, it wasn't just straight lines and a little bit of corner speed. Aaron threw in a couple of donuts to try and make these guys sick. All right, time for our second last race of the evening. It's the Intermediate Open. We got 8 riders. Green light, we're headed down. Jody Christie, huge wheelie heading down that front straightaway here. Taking the early lead. Dustin Brown there on the outside. Luke Ram sitting in that 3rd spot. Cody Marintet, myself, Tyler Brown, Dustin Lambert. And I believe that's Alex Olson. We're just all kind of battling it out the back of the pack there. Dustin Brown gets ahead of Jody Christie down the back straightaway on that Sail Racing Yamaha. Jody going to be doing everything he can on that KBR Honda bike to catch back up. Luke Ram sitting in that 3rd spot. Tyler Brown sitting in 4th. Cody Marintet in 5th. Coming out of corner number 2, Dustin Brown doing a good job getting ahead. Tyler Brown going around the outside of Cody Marintet, who dove down on the inside to try and get around him. Making their way out of corner number 4. Dustin Brown starting to gap out a little bit over Jody Christie. Jody getting a little bit loose coming out of corner 4 there. Luke Ram sitting in that 3rd spot, going to be trying to catch up. Tyler Brown doing everything he can not to let these guys get too far away. Cody Marintet diving way down to the inside, scrubbing off a little bit of speed, getting ahead of Tyler Brown. Tyler getting that drive there on the outside, holding on for dear life. As you can see, he's bouncing all over the track. Heading back down the back straightaway there is Dustin Brown, still leading the charge. We got a pack of 4 or 5 riders roughly in the front there. So this is anyone's game. Anyone makes a minor mistake and, they can catch up to this. So remaining pack coming through, that is Dustin Lambert, myself, and Alex Olson. We're starting to fall back and filter out a little bit. Cody Marintet trying to the same line again on the inside of Tyler Brown there. Doesn't work. Dustin Brown checking out over Jody Christie, Luke Graham, Tyler Brown, and Cody Marintet. Myself and Dustin Lambert and Alex Olson have a little battle royal of our own in the back. So coming around for lap number 4, Tyler Brown catching up to Luke Graham. Going to try and play with his lines here. Cody going back down to the inside. Going to try and force both of them up. Doesn't get the drive that he needs to get out of the corner. Luke Graham holding on, doing the best he can, but it's not enough as Tyler Brown makes his way around to take over that 3rd spot. Dustin Brown starting to check out with his lead now. Almost half a straightaway. Luke Graham falling back off pace. Cody Marintet diving back down to the inside. Gonna try and shut out Luke Graham coming out of the back straight here. Luke gets enough of a drive out in that deep cushion to stay ahead of Marintet. Cody's running out of time here. He's got to put some traction to the ground to get by him. Luke coming from motocross, transitioning into flat track racing very, very well. Luke kind of came in halfway through the season, and he's been a wild card. He's kind of mixed things up a little bit for the points, and he's doing a great job. As you can see, he's having tons of fun out here, and he's battling it out with Cody Marintet right now. Dustin Brown checked out, huge lead. Not much is going to stop him, so as we're coming up for our final lap, we're going to hop on board with Dustin here and see what it is exactly, how he's getting around the track here. Kind of sitting back up a little bit further on the bike, getting a little bit more traction to that rear wheel as he just twists the throttle right around. Jody Christie holding down that 2nd spot, followed by Tyler Brown in 3rd. Now, not much is going to change as we come around here for the checkered flag. Dustin Brown going to go 1-1 here today in Belleville in the intermediate class. Jody Christie in second, Tyler Brown in third. So Dustin, again, we'll head down to Victory Lane, get a couple photos, and we're going to go to commercial break. Be right back with our last race of the evening. Okay, it's time for our last race of the evening. We got the Expert Open. We got 12 riders. Caitlin showing them 15 laps, heading across the line here. We're going to go green right now. Brody Buchan doing a huge wheelie off the start. Saves it. Pulls that clutch back in. Heads back down the front line here. Steve Beatty leading the charge. Coming out of corner number 2. Tyler Siguen up high. Goes to challenge. Beatty doesn't get enough of a drive to keep up with them. Steve starts to pull away, so we have John Parker, who we spoke to earlier, sitting in that third spot at Fast Freddy Dejanot, just kind of strolling by there. I think he has some bikes problems. He's going to be pulling off. John Parker sitting in that third spot, holding off Nick Wenzler and Doug Lawrence. Chris Evans right behind him as well. The rest of the pack filtering through. Steve Beatty going to that outside line, doing a great job getting a good strong drive off here. We're going to hop on board with Nick Wenzler. He's going to be battling it out with John Parker here. John getting a great drive off that start and able to stay up at the front of the pack here. Doug Lawrence scooting out in front of John Parker and Nick Wenzler here out on his XR 750. Opting to go with the big bike here today. Try and get as much power as you can. Steve actually switched to one of the KBR 450 framers just because this is actually a Sunday race. Saturday we were rained out halfway through the day. So opted to ride the smaller bike due to track conditions. Coming around here for lap number 3, Steve Beatty starting to get a little bit of a gap going out over Tyler Siguen there. You can see Nick Wenzler holding off John Parker, trying to catch back up to Doug Lawrence, who's sitting in that third spot. John Parker sticking it to him. Brody Buchan making a move by Evans on the outside. Gets by Evans now. He's just got to get by Wenzler and Parker to start hopefully making up some ground after that wheelie start that he had. Brody trying to work the outside around Parker and doing everything he can to hold on. Still out front, and our top 3 guys kind of similar gap going on, but they seem to be breaking away from the rest of the remaining pack. Buchan getting around Wenzler and Parker. We're going to fast forward a lap number 10 because nothing really took place other than Brody 5 laps putting the hammer down and catching back up to Doug Lawrence. We're going to hop on board here with Brody Buchan shortly, and you're going to get a first-hand view of what it's like to battle it out with an XR 750. So Buchan going down to the inside line, trying to hold off Lawrence as best he can. He knows that he can make up the ground in the corners, but Lawrence is going to be making up the ground on the straights. So Buchan gets by Lawrence, parks it in front of him. Now he's got his sights set on Tyler Siguen. Brody doing a great job charging from the back of the pack all the way back up to the front. He's only got 2 more guys to get past before we run out of time here. Now Brody's known for making those last lap corner passes, but will he be able to catch up to the 26 Steve Beatty machine and get by him? But first he's got to get by Tyler Siguen, who has won here 2 years in a row previous to this. This is one of Tyler's favorite tracks. So Brody trying to stick down to that inside line. Siguen doing a great job up on that high line, holding them off, getting a good drive. Heading off corner number 2. They both seem to be breaking away from Doug Lawrence and catching up to Steve Beatty, who's now running into some lap traffic. So this might switch things up a bit. Brody going down to the inside of Siguen. They're going to be drag racing down this front straightaway here. Brody getting the drive on him and shutting him out to get by him with 2 laps to go here. Tyler doing everything he can to hold on the outside. These 2 former teammates the previous year. Kind of funny to see them both battling it out. Steve got to just run his own race now at his own pace. Buchan starts to get a little bit ahead of Siguen, but is it going to be enough of a drive to catch up to Beatty as he's coming around for his final lap? It seems that Buchan and Siguen and Lawrence, the three of these guys are trying to push each other to catch up to Beatty. Brody's starting to close up the gap on Beatty here. Any mistakes from Beatty in this corner could cost him the race. Siguen still holding on, trying to do everything he can to salvage that third position and make up some points. But it looks like it's going to be a flawless victory here for Steve Beatty as he comes down the checkers. Mike Zalaska waving the flags. Buchan taking second, Siguen taking third. We're going to head down to victory lane and have a quick chat with all these guys.
Okay, so coming across the line in that third spot, Tyler Siguen, previous 2 years winning here at Belleville. It's obviously got to be a favorite track for you. But what was kind of going through your mind? You were up there battling with Steve Beatty and Doug Lawrence. You were kind of sandwiched in between these two vet riders. What'd you think?
Yeah, I was just trying to pick every corner perfect. I got a few good drives, and when Steve had a big gap, and we kind of pulled back up closer to him. I still had them win in mind the whole race. Corner 3 and 4 got real deeper than it has been before. That was where I was planning on riding, but that thing was deep, so I had to kind of change my lines up a little bit for the main.
Okay, so obviously you're back out on this Evans machine again, so you got to give some love out to them and your fellow sponsors.
Yeah, I got to thank George and Chris so much for they called me up, asked me to ride their bikes. That was so I jumped right on board. So I got to thank them for this motorcycle. I got to thank, a lot of other people, Paul Little, Mama's Boys, Diamond Detail, everyone that helps me get out here. My buddy Nate, without all these people, I actually wouldn't be out here, so thank you.
Okay, so that third spot going out to Tyler Siguen, so don't count this guy out for the rest of the season. Okay, so taking that second spot out here at the Belleville half mile, Brody Buchan with a little bit of a crazy start going on there. It looked like a 12 o'clock wheelie. Not sure if you're into the freestyle motocross or anything like that. Maybe too much KBR power. I'm not really sure. But getting the Hard Charger award and charging back from the back of the pack all the way up to second place. Tell us what was going through your mind and how the track broke down to help you get up that far.
I said I need to get a good start, so I'm going to pick a deep rut, just hammer it out. And it definitely hooked. Both feet were off of the pegs. I pulled in the clutch to try and save it, and it went down the forwards. So dumped the clutch, kept going. Lucky there, but I was the people in the second row beat me into the corner. So I really had to charge hard. John and Chris made it difficult for me to pass them. They were battling their own battle. So once I got by them, it was kind of smooth sailing. Wouldn't have been able to do it without Kurt Beeger, the super fast bikes. I couldn't believe how they were just pulling down the straightaway. I was passing people like they were standing still. It was awesome. So Honda Canada, got to give them huge thanks. Jody Christie stepping up big time for me this year. So big thanks to him. Mom and Dad as always. Outlaw Productions, 26 Suspension, Randy Friars, Matt and Michelle Phibbs, Scott Wilkinson, Hilda Franklin, my Aunt Shannon, and Chapman Signs. Big thank you to all you guys, all the fans that come out, follow the series, Hesmer's put on the races. Thank you very much.
All right. And Kurt, thoughts on today? You got a couple of your pedigrees up on the top spot.
I think it's been a great day. Both these guys rode the wheels off the bikes. It's not all the bike, it's the rider. Riders have to turn that throttle. The bike is only go as fast as you tell it to do. They both rode awesome. Brody, his start, I kind of shook my head. I thought, what are you doing? And all of a sudden he started picking him up. Hey, good lesson for him. Learn how to pass fast.
Right on. Okay, so taking that second spot, Hard Charger award going out to Brody Buchan on the 49 KBR Honda machine. Okay, so that top spot going out to the 26 Steve Beatty machine out here today for the George Pepper Classic. First time inaugural opening event for Flat Track Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, was this a lot different from previous years for you?
You know what? Like I told you guys, it's been I was 14 or 15 years old when I was last here. So I've got no data. I've got no memory of this place really. One point in time, there was a drive-in theater on the back straightaway, and you go watch movies every lap going down the back straightaway. Other than that, it's been a long time since I've been here. So super pumped to win the George Pepper Classic inaugural for that one. Super pumped here for Kurt Beeger to put me on the Honda today. And like I said, I was a bit torn. As you guys know, I ride my my big bike all the time, and here we are at a big bike track. But last night I would have been on it. Today with the rain date and the sun up, and I just felt maybe a little bit more at ease with this. But yeah, like I was telling everybody, just torn all day long sitting in the pits looking at that thing. Anyways, Honda, CRF 450, Honda Canada 450 did the job today. Won the dash, won the main, so won the heat. Can't get any better than that.
Dairy Queen for the dinner for the family.
Dairy Queen is where we're going. And I bet you they got a Dairy Queen here. Just because we're not in Leamington, right?
Okay. Well, and obviously lots of other people helping you out there too. So let's give a quick rundown of them.
Yeah, for sure. Again, KBR, Kurt Beager Racing. Guy tunes this thing and makes that thing just like, doesn't break. It's good. Knock on wood. Honda Canada gives us lots of help this year. Helps out Brody and Jody Christie on the team as well. So there's 3 of us. That's real cool. So thanks to those guys. Big shout out. Woody Kyle does the cylinder heads. Wasner pistons, Vortex handlebars and sprockets. Keep everything going straight and forward. Myself, I do the suspension on all the bikes. A lot of the stuff in the paddock here. So 26 suspension, thumbs up. And Joey helmets. Yeah, I just think I got those guys back on board this week with these wins. So very cool. Joey, we're going to get a new one soon. This is my old trusty X11 Bostrom replica, but I'm sure we got an X14 coming down the road.
Okay, so as every champion's reward here for the George Pepper Classic, we're going to hand over the trophy here for you for the Open Expert win.
Cool. Check that out, guys. Digging it.
So,
First ever. You can have a Steve Beatty right there.
okay, so congratulations today, Steve, on your big win. Gonna enjoy the trophy. Not sure if you're gonna fill up the top of the cup there and have a little drink or not, but all right. Okay, so finishing up the day, taking that overall win here in the Open Expert, Steve Beatty.